This is the Brave Ideas Podcast, brought to you by Aqua. Welcome to episode 12 of the Brave Ideas Podcast, the show that is all about bringing to life fresh perspectives from the worlds of digital and marketing. I'm Dan Herman. I'm a digital strategist, an emoji linguist, and a member of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And I'm here today with my co-host.
I'm Sinead. I'm also a digital strategist and an underground Facebook hacker. We love hearing your opinion about our show, and if you would like to do that, please email us at braveideas@aquaonline.com or follow us on social media, and that's at Aqua Agency on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or Brave Ideas Podcast on Instagram.
Today, we're talking to Theo Ferreira, Executive Creative Director at Aqua. Theo is a member of the Parkview Massive, who dreams one day of winning the Tour de France. And today, he's going to talk to us about something he picked up at the Cannes Festival of Creativity. Theo, what's new?
Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi, Theo.
It's great to be here. So coming back to the Cannes Advertising Festival, every year there's always different themes that come out. And what I wanted to talk about today was purpose-driven work. And a lot of purpose-driven work was awarded, some great work was awarded at Cannes this year.
Okay, cool. Theo, so maybe what I can ask you to do is just take a step back and explain to us a little bit more about what is purpose-driven marketing.
Okay, so in this world of mass consumerism, it really is a way for brands to give back to society and having a higher purpose than just, selling us stuff. It's goodwill, I guess. A lot of it is around goodwill, and something that we talk a lot about in the agency is building brand love.
If you can share with us an example of something or a case study that you saw at Cannes.
Cool. So I've got a couple of examples that we can share today. But my first example that I'd love to share with you was a campaign done by Volvo called Life Paint. And what it was is there's a massive cycling community in the UK. A lot of them cycle at night. And obviously with that comes there's a lot of danger associated with cyclists at night not being seen, being hit by cars, a lot of fatalities and injuries. So Volvo, this amazing car brand, what they did was they created this aerosol can called Life Paint, and what you're able to do is spray yourself or your bike with this luminescent paint. So it isn't like a spray paint, it's like it covers you very lightly like a normal deodorant. And basically you can drive at night or you can cycle at night while other people are driving cars and you're totally illuminated. And I just think it's a beautiful case study of how a car brand is differentiating themselves from others.
So do you spray it under your arms, like deodorant?
Well, you can if you want, but you ain't going to see it. No one's going to see you because your arms are going to be like holding the handlebars. No, you can spray your whole body and you can spray your whole bike, and literally you see these hectic Lumo figures, white figures cycling around at night. It's pretty rad. And
was there a tangible impact from that campaign? So did it play a role in diminishing fatalities? What did it do?
So I don't have the exact stats. Well, there are exact stats. Sorry, I can't remember them. But there's been a massive reduction in fatalities and injuries. So it has had a huge, significant impact on cycle safety at night.
Why do you think that case study works so well? It's a car brand, and they're talking about cyclists. Like, why? What makes that case study or that example so effective?
Just because there was a problem, and cars are the cause of the problem. And they came up with an amazing solution.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, I think what Volvo really did well is that they tapped into a big problem within society. They found a solution for that problem. And what it did that made them look really good and make them come across as a company that cared. And I'm quite interested to unpack for you around why you feel that Volvo did that and why it worked. I mean, why does that work for Volvo?
Well, I don't think it's specific to Volvo, although the fact is they do stand for safety. I mean, we may know that because we in marketing, we always know that Volvo stand for safety. But I don't think, I wouldn't look on it differently if it was done for example, Merck or BMW. I would still have a connection to that brand if they had come up with Life Paint, just because of the results that it's created.
So my biggest gripe with cause marketing is that it can sometimes feel a little bit like greenwashing. How then do we and how do brands avoid it looking just like greenwashing?
So there's a very simple answer, and it's not long. So get ready. It's authenticity. It comes down to being authentic.
Yeah.
If a brand is doing a stunt or what is perceived to be cause marketing or purpose-driven advertising, and you can tell it's not authentic, it's going to be a massive fail. In fact, do damage to that brand. So it really comes down to being authentic. And the examples that I saw that won at Cannes this year, beautiful examples, were all totally authentic. They had a real purpose to change lives that benefited the consumer, benefited society. And also the other thing is that it should never be a short-term thing. I think it's also ongoing. So purpose-driven advertising isn't just, oh, well, let's just run a little campaign for 2 months, we'll build brand love, and then we'll just let it go. I think it's an ongoing thing. It should be part of your strategy for the years to come.
What you're saying is that if a brand is going to attempt cause-driven marketing, they better do it in a way that is authentic and that resonates with what consumers are feeling, right?
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that. And I think that, I was doing some research around it, and I saw such stats that actually being authentic and doing cause marketing effectively can drive an increase in sales. So one of the things I found was that 80% of consumers will switch to a brand that supports a cause when everything else is equal. So it does that's authenticity, and that sort of connection does sort of play a key role in differentiating for consumers. But I think there's a lot of attention for me, especially in a South African context. We've got a lot of causes that people are concerned about in this country, whether it's load shedding, whether it's xenophobia, whether it's rhino poaching. There is so much happening, there is so much going on, and I'm concerned that consumers in South Africa are fatigued by the sheer amount of things that they have to care about. Can cause marketing or purpose-driven work in a context where we are compelled to give all the time? And how do we go about breaking through that fatigue?
It does. It kind of makes me feel I'm either lulled, or I just feel really guilty.
Yeah.
Because there's so much.
So you don't have to do anything. It's not about what you have to do. It's behavior of the brand. So I hear you. It's exhausting that we see all these issues in our personal capacity, but it's the brand's behavior that's changing stuff. So if you look at the Procter & Gamble example, their campaign that they launched with the Olympics, the Thank You Mom campaign, they're not asking moms to do anything. All they're doing is they're celebrating moms. Now, I know that's not an example that surrounds xenophobia or rhino poaching or bad education, but what those are great opportunities where brands can show a higher purpose and build brand love by supporting a cause like potentially one of those. Obviously, it has to be relevant though to the brand. It can't just be random. There's got to be some link to what the brand products are, etc. Not just we're going to go and adopt rhino poaching. That's just a sponsorship.
Can you tell us a bit more about the Procter & Gamble case study?
So Procter & Gamble launched this amazing campaign at the last Olympics, and it really was a celebration of moms. The payoff line is an absolute clincher, being a creative. I watched the commercial, and when I saw the payoff line, I was like, damn, that's good. And the payoff line is proud sponsor of moms. And really it takes you on a journey. The entire campaign's a 360 campaign that takes you on a journey of what it takes to get as a mom, what it takes to get your child to be an Olympic competitor. Getting up early in the mornings, driving your child to swimming training, sitting up late at night, helping them study because they've spent the entire day training, etc. It's a magnificent campaign that celebrates mothers.
I think that what's amazing about that campaign, for me at least, and I don't know if you agree, Sinead, is that what it does do is that it talks to the key target market of Procter & Gamble and creates a direct connection with a buyer that could potentially result in more sales down the line. So what that campaign really does well is that it builds this brand love, but it plants important seeds with a potential customer that could pay off for them in the long run. I don't know what you think.
Well, that's exactly, that Procter & Gamble example is exactly what Theo was saying earlier. It's that it has it's been around for 3 years, which means they've done that perfectly. They've triggered something. And I know I was mentioning to you guys offline as well about I worked with an agency in Cape Town years ago called Consumer Insight Agency, and they actually have a dedicated person within the company that works with brands, with the companies, does a lot of research in terms of what they do, unpacks the consumer, tries to understand the core consumer, and then tries to find a cause that is relevant to the brand as well as the consumer. And then it starts making sense. And I think if you get that right, it starts to feel more authentic.
Yeah, totally. And then coming back to your point, Dan, I think, and maybe it's controversial, but I think cause marketing or good advertising, and coming back to the Procter & Gamble example, is a very clever marketing tool. Because what they're doing is they're shifting consumers from one particular brand to their brand. And because you are seeing increase in sales, purely because they stand for celebrating moms, for example. And it does become the differentiator. So I think it's a clever marketing tool to do purpose-driven advertising to get people, to win people over to your brand and buy your products.
It's actually quite interesting. What are the 4 Ps? It's price, place, price.
And you're
product?
in marketing.
No,
you don't even know the 4 Ps.
Remind me. It's almost like
it's
price, place, product, promotion.
Exactly, and it kind of feels like maybe the fifth P is going to be purpose.
I love that.
It feels like, like if you're kind of on par with everyone else in your category on all the different Ps, maybe purpose is going to become the 5th one.
Yo, Costa and Keller in the mix, yo.
I'd own that really quickly before anyone else does.
So I think what really is exciting for me is actually when a brand goes beyond a stunt, beyond the case study video, and makes a tangible impact on society. So the example that sticks out for me is the MTN neck nomination campaign. So this is, obviously you were intimately involved with this, but basically during this neck nomination craze, which is basically people boozing themselves into a stupor on camera, that obviously got changed into random acts of kindness and making a huge impact on society. And what Aqua did is that we partnered with MTN and we spoke to them and we got them to do something really exciting and big. Can you talk us through what happened there, Theo?
Yeah, so as you said, what happened was when that crazy beer drinking game came to South Africa, it slowly got turned into random acts of kindness, where corporates started sponsoring each other, and MTN got sponsored to do a neck nomination within 24 hours by Five Roses Tea. And what we did together with MTN was we freed up Wikipedia. We zero-rated Wikipedia to school children, which was amazing because a lot of school kids don't have access to textbooks, but they do have access, now they have access to the internet, where they can use the internet and Wikipedia to study. So that was a really powerful example of purpose-driven marketing. And like I said earlier, it's not a one-off. This is continuing. And at that stage, we reached 3.4 million school children, which has now grown. The campaign is like a year or more than a year into its progress.
It's absolutely amazing. And I think that purpose-driven marketing is clearly a means for brands, for agencies to give back to society in much bigger ways than we expect. So Theo, I'd just like to wrap up the conversation by asking you if there was one thing that you could take out from purpose-driven marketing and from this conversation for Aqua and the broader agency, what would it be?
Well, it's not just for Aqua. I think maybe as the agency we can drive harder purpose-driven marketing or advertising with our clients, and the reason there's sound and strong strategic reasons why. There's also creative reasons. It's a great creative opportunity to do great creative work. I just had to throw that in there, being a creative. Because if you look at the examples that won at Cannes this year, they are very creative pieces of work. Definitely we could drive it harder with our clients, but clients also, I think there's a massive opportunity for them to stand out, to differentiate, and to build brand love. They should be way more active. And I think the examples that came out of Cannes this year, there was such great examples of acknowledging purpose-driven work for the first time in ages. I think our marketers, our brands, marketing directors and agencies can take a leaf out of out of that book.
Thanks, Theo. If people want to find out more about the topic, or if they want to get in touch with you to find out more about you, how do they do that?
I'm not sure. How do they do that? They can email me.
They can email me.
Do you want my email address?
Yes.
Okay. So it's theof@aquaonline.com. Mail me, please. I'd love to talk about it more. I'm extremely passionate about purpose-driven marketing.
Okay, cool. Now let's move on to the tool of the week.
This week's tool of the week is Thunderclap. Thunderclap is a crowdfunding platform, just like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, but instead of asking people to donate money and funding in a normal sense, what it asks them to do is donate their social reach. So I'm actually donating my followers on Twitter and Facebook and other social media platforms to a specific cause. What they will then do is that once they have gathered a whole bunch of different supporters, the platform will create a Thunderclap, which is basically a message that is broadcasted across social media platforms at a specific time and date in order to get that cause trending across social media. What's really exciting about it also is that whoever has now donated their reach becomes part of a database that you can then use for further marketing down the line. So given that we've been talking about cause-driven marketing today, I think that Thunderclap is a really exciting means upon which to talk purpose-driven marketing and drive causes, but in a way that requires the consumer not to donate financially, but to donate socially, and also really interesting in how they've perceived social reach to be the new currency of the online world. If you want to use Thunderclap, you can check it out at thunderclap.it.
Thanks, Dan, and thank you for listening to the Brave Ideas podcast. If you like what you heard, please subscribe on iTunes, and while you're there, give us a rating and a review. You can also visit aquagrp.libsyn.com for the complete library of episodes.
If you want to keep in touch with me, Dan, you can follow me at elhermo on Twitter or elhermo23 on Snapchat and Instagram. And you can follow Sinead.
And that's at Feeling Disco on Twitter and Instagram, Feeling Disco with a K.
Special thank you to Theo Ferreira, our special guest. Thanks to Matthew Klawansky for music and production. Thanks to Eros Gous and his team for the art direction. And a special thank you to JP Singh for managing our social media.
That brings us to the end of the show. We'll leave you with one final thought. There are no original ideas, only original people.